Our next phenomenal woman is none other than Pastor Traycie Small. She is the co-pastor of the Purpose Place Ministries with her husband, Pastor Michael Small. Traycie's life is committed to leading by example and loving people to reach their full life's capacity in Jesus Christ. Traycie has been teaching and preaching for over 20 years with passion, strength, and a prophetic power. And although Traycie's journey has been filled with a bunch of bumps and different things, those experiences were enriching, fulfilling, and helped many people's lives. Traycie's life spiraled out of control and into a deep depression that disengaged her from her church community. But can't you appreciate the but? There is a but in all of our stories. But one despairing night, she says, there was a great pain and a whole bunch of things took place, and Traycie heard a calling that has since transformed her life forever. And so, without further ado, ladies, I present to you our very own phenomenal woman, Pastor Traycie Small.
You're amazing. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much. I am created for this, right? Can you say that? I am created for this. That's right. I just want to thank the phenomenal women and staff for asking me to come and to talk and kind of tell you about my experiences. This organization is awesome. I can tell already. I'm so glad that you decided to be here in Michigan. Phenomenal, or this word phenomenal, it's a topic and a sound that we don't hear a lot. We don't hear the word phenomenal a lot. And because of this organization coming to this city, I've been hearing it more. I've been seeing it more on social media. I've actually been using the word phenomenal. How are you today? Phenomenal. You know, it's a catchphrase. It's real. And so I looked up the word phenomenal, and I was like, it means remarkable. It means awesome. And then it comes from the word pneuma, that means breath, living. And it's so awesome that what did it say? It said it was so awesome that you have to believe it to see. You have to see it to believe it. You have to see it to believe it. That's phenomenal, right? And then I got to thinking, woman, what is that? What is that? So I said, God, show me what is it that I need to kind of introduce the women to today. And He brought me to the creation of the world, of the universe. And I'm a big fan of the Holy Scriptures. And I began to read about it, and I was like, okay, God, you made heaven, you made earth, and you made the grass and the fields, and all this that He did. And then He decided to make animals. And then He made the creatures. And then not just one creature, but several different classifications of the same creature. And then He made animals and all these things in the fowl of the air and several different classifications of the fowl of the air. And then He was just just doing this thing and just creating and creating and creating. It's like, wow. But and the Bible says that it was good. But then, He got to looking and He was like, you know what? I'm going to outdo myself. And I'm going to make an image after my own self. And then He said that I'm going to create man. I don't know what to say about that, but He did. And He created it. And in the Bible it says he named him Adam. But you would think that would be enough. You would think that God created man into His own image, that would be enough for God. But the Bible says that Adam had a problem. The man had a problem. He was alone. He was alone. And God made woman to solve the man's problem. Whoa! God outdid Himself. And then He said, that's enough for me. I'm done. That's it. That was the last. We were the last of His creation. Give the Lord a shout and an amen for that. Wow. So Today I was thinking, when Tamika and the staff, they asked me to speak, and I was like, okay. And I don't know, I just kept putting it off, and I just kind of let it roll in my spirit. And when I first got the email, I thought I was being punked. Because really, I'm looking at this email like, really? Okay. And so, I don't know if you, because there's a lot of phenomenal women in here. So I know that some of you have gotten emails that said that you have been selected to be a candidate for this kind of award, right? Some of you have gotten that email. I know some of you have gotten that. I've gotten that email. And I remember a few years ago, I called on the phone and I was like, wow, I won an award and I'm going to be part of this, I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of women's award. And then I called on the phone and they told me that I had to pay them money to be in the directory. And I was like, the devil is a lie, I'm not doing that. Keep that book. But I was like so excited that I get to be in this lineup of Phenomenal Woman. This is a very excellent organization, and to be the one of the people, the women that will be able to push this organization to the next level, even in this side of the country, is amazing. This is amazing. So I'm responsible for giving you a particular topic. We're all responsible for our energy levels and what I'm going to bring to you, and you're responsible for what you're going to bring to me. When I thought about what I was going to speak to you about, I couldn't get anything. I just got this message a week ago. Because what I was doing was saying, what am I going to speak to you about? But in essence, what I found in the Spirit is what I'm going to speak with you about. Yes. What am I going to speak with you about? Because our lives are always speaking. And I don't want to speak to you, I want to speak with you. So I want to turn the volume up in your life. I want to turn up that voice, that small voice in your head. I want that to get turned up today. And that's what I'm here for. I'm responsible today for that energy and for that sound to be clear in your mind and head. So our lives are always speaking. I'm going to go through a brief era in my life. And you heard a little bit about it in what was written or said about me. But there's a brief era in my life that I suffered so much pain and so much rejection, and it felt unbearable. And then I'm going to release to you some spiritual golden nuggets that I learned from the journey. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about Women's Breakfast Club. I'm just going to tell you right now. Go in the back of the table and find out about what we do in Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's all I'm going to say about that. But then I'm going to tell you, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to go further in your path. And I'm going to challenge you to turn up that volume a notch so you can hear what your purpose is and where you should be going. I don't have music for this story, but I really like that. That was a good idea. But I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. And I just want you to picture this. Laying in my bed again, dark, still, depressed, not knowing what I'm going to do again. Rejected, confused, and too hurt to even cry. 18 months ago, I was the golden girl of this organization. I co-led and I ran 2 major departments in this organization. And one was a very successful women's department that I was asked to take over. The place was popping. There was buzz, new luster, new energy. My mind was going there. What happened to that? Underdogs were becoming top dogs. Ladies were finding their place in this organization at a rapid rate. The department was being turned inside out. We were making noise and we had fun, and guess what? I found my niche. I knew what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to help women. I was a women's leader. Everywhere I went at that time, I heard music in my mind. I was walking around listening to Diana Ross everywhere I went. I'm coming out. Oh, I was turning around and I was hearing Shaka Khan. I'm every woman, everywhere. I was hearing music. I was feeling myself. I was a woman's leader. But one day, I had a lot to learn, I will say that. But one day the climate had changed. Storm clouds began to form, and I didn't even see it coming. First there was lightning, and then there was thunder, and the situation began really to get ugly. And I still didn't see it coming. I was still sticking around. All of a sudden, the leadership had changed. How many know what I'm talking about when leadership changed? And all of a sudden, I wasn't the golden girl anymore. When that leadership changed, the music stopped. I didn't hear any more Diana Ross, no more Shaka Khan. It was over. I tried to roll with it. I tried to stand the rain. I tried to suck it up. I tried to stay. How many know what I'm talking about? Trying to stay. Miscommunications, the try-agains, the redos, the start-overs, the tear-downs, the build-ups. Several levels of frustration were just building and building and building in me. And at some point I decided that I couldn't do this anymore. And I had to suck it up, and I had to walk away from an organization that I was involved with for over a decade. Why? Because I didn't want to sell my truth to anybody else any longer. My destiny was revealed to me, and I was not going back anymore. In that one decision became a massive level of rejection that I don't know a lot of people would have took. People that I once called my friends, I called them and they didn't call back. People that knew me for years, they knew my integrity, they knew my character, our kids grew up together, no call back. They wouldn't pick up the phone. I had escaped Egypt, but they were still there. I came out maybe with 1 and 1.5 of a friend. It got really bad for me emotionally and spiritually, and it physically took a toll on me. The feeling of rejection was just so heavy. Most people probably would have moved out of town, especially when you go to the mall or to a store and you walk in the store and then somebody goes the other way because they don't want to speak. Really? Is it that bad? Wow. But they didn't know this. How could someone like you, someone even told me this, they said, of all the rejection that you took, you still smiled, you still held your head up. It's just, I would just say, phenomenal, the way you carried yourself through this whole process. But what they did not know is I had went through this before in the 4th grade. Not as complex, but I've been through it. Because you see, I was bullied in elementary school for at least 2 or 3 years. And I was intimidated. If you go outside for recess, we're jumping you. But I wasn't that kind of girl. I went outside for recess because I wanted to play hopscotch, and I wanted to play my monkey bars. And I was not going to be in the classroom while fun was being had and being intimidated and threatened by bullies. I was not going to do that. There wasn't like an anti-bully campaign, so I had to really work hard. So I've already been through this intimidation. I've already been through this learning how to ignore the bullies. But one day in the 7th grade, I decided that I was going to stand up to my major nemesis. And I'm going to change her name, and I'm just going to say her name is Traycie Anderson. Almost said her name. Traycie Anderson. Woo! She must be thinking about me today. 7th grade. I won't say who won the fight, but I will say there was a brief altercation in the lunchroom, and after that fight, I became the popular girl. And me and Traycie, we're friends. We're Facebook friends. We're fake friends. Oh, let me stop. From then on, though, I knew I had to fight. I knew that at some point in my life, that there will be a time where I'm going to have to stand up for myself and fight. No matter what they thought, no matter what they said, I had to come with it. So, lying in that bed again, taking you back. Was this my fault? Am I the cause of this? Should I stay? Should I wait it out? All the stuff you would say after a bad breakup, that was in my mind. In my desperation and depression, my deepest, darkest feeling of rejection and obscurity, still dark. That is when my life began to speak. It began to speak. In that darkness, it began to tell me what I'm supposed to do. So that's what I asked. I said, what am I supposed to do? There was no other place to go. What am I supposed to do? So I listened. I had nobody else to listen to. So I was ready. I was in that position. I was in that place of urgent hearing and very, very detailed sound of what God was saying to me. I asked the question, and the question was almost magical. Because I was ready for it. What am I supposed to do is a spiritual seeking question. It's threaded in our DNA. We are all wondering, who am I? What am I created for? That's a spiritual question. And when I began to ask that question, my life took on an intuitive meaning that just skyrocketed. I was listening for God's voice. And his voice usually isn't the voice you hear like the sound of this microphone and me speaking. We would hope that it would be that easy, but it's not. His voice is usually a whisper. And it's usually an impression that you get in your spirit and your soul. And these are the three nuggets that I've learned. The first nugget is the pattern of the voice. The pattern of the voice. And like I said before, the pattern of the voice is typically a whisper. And then if you don't listen to the whisper, guess what happened? That whisper becomes a message that really hits hard. A message that really hits hard. And then after that message and you still don't listen, you're going to start having some problems. Because he whispered it to you. And he gave you a message that really hit hard, and you know you're hearing it right now. Some of you are hearing the message right now, even as I speak. But if you don't do it, you're going to start having problems. And those problems begin to be layers and layers of issues, and you look wondering why, what is going on? Why is all this happening to me? Because you didn't listen. And then those problems become a huge disaster. Remember that storm? I heard that whisper a long time ago that it was time for me to pull back. But I just kept going. In my youth, in my ego, I just kept going. I should have pulled back a long time ago. But the disaster came. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that I am saying no to when I should be saying yes to? That is the major question. If you can just write that down, get by yourself, and just ask this question, you're going to get a whole lot of answers. What am I saying no to when I should be saying yes to? And it's going to pop off for you. Number two, the second spiritual nugget is this. Failure is the womb of success. No matter how many failures you had, the bigger and better the womb. The more capacity that can fill you is because you've had failure. And that is the capsule of your success. I learned this because I also realized this. If I would have stayed, it would have been more and more issues. Frustration is God's way of pushing you into a new direction. I learned this. When you are frustrated about something, I don't care what it is God's way of pushing you to what you're saying no to when you should be saying yes to. It's a compass. Frustration, look at it this way. Frustration is a compass to your next step. Pay attention to the climate changes in your life. Pay attention to them. If you see storms forming, if you see a little bit of rain coming, you need to respond before the disaster comes. If you feel stuck, that is information. See, we just say, oh, what am I supposed to do? I'm just stuck. No, that is information. You know what it's telling you? You saying no to something you should be saying yes to. It always goes back to that. My third nugget, my golden nugget is this. The antidote of depression is action. The antidote of depression is action. You become what you act on, not what you wish for. You have to move when it's time to move. And the best time to do it is when you're depressed. Just get up. That's what happened to me. What did Traycie do? Yes, I laid in the bed in the dark, depressed, but guess what I did? I got up. I went from the bed to the bedroom floor, and I took action. I walked in my closet, picked out my best suit, my best high heels. I ran down the stairs to tell somebody, because you know what? When God gives you something, you got to tell somebody. I ran downstairs to tell somebody, but I'm going to park it right here. Because you said, why did you, this was 10 o'clock at night. Why did she do that? Why did she put on a dress? And what was all that about? That's symbolism. I call it prophetic symbolism. It's a spiritual thing. Symbolism creates a meaning to define the moment. That's special. You do something to create a definition of this is what I'm about to do. And that's what I did. And if you want to know what your purpose feels like, God, show me this. Picture this. You go out shopping with your girlfriend and you're looking for an outfit for the weekend. She goes one part of the store, you at the other part of the store. So you're going through the clothing and you see a nice looking dress and it's looking beautiful. You put that dress on. You go into the dressing room, you put that dress on and it's looking cute on you and you're feeling good. You say, yep, that's a wrap. You hurry up, you get your clothes on, you go to the cashier, you get to the cashier, you pay your money, they put it in the bag, you walk away, and your girlfriend say, hey, Traycie, what are you doing? Oh, girl, I got my stuff. You got it already? Yep. What you get? Girl, it's a cute little dress. Look, oh, wow. But you know what? I didn't have to ask her how to look. That's what your purpose looks like. It fits just right. You don't have to ask nobody. You just know you are baking and you popping and you don't need to ask nobody's approval because you know it's just right. And everybody has that one dress. Everybody has that. So just remember that. That's what your purpose is. That's what your destiny looks like. So I got up, I ran downstairs and I went to tell my husband. He was working on a business that we were working on. And I said, honey, I am the Women's Breakfast Club. And he was like, okay, what's that? I was like, this is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I'm going to do the Women's Breakfast Club. Basically, I'm going to create something that I want to go to every month. I want to create something that people and women all around the world are pursuing their purpose without any barriers. And they're having passion and they're being supported. They can do whatever they want. And they can come here to get filled and energized and get that approval to say, just go do it, girl. That's what I wanted. And he was like, okay, wow. So he looked it up. He looked up womensbreakfastclub.com. And he looked it up. And there was no womensbreakfast.com. We have it. Amen. I got 1 minute left. I wrote my vision down. I made it plain. Angels ran with it. We're still growing. We have a contact list of over 1,000 women already. 90% retention. We're touching lives all over Kalamazoo, Michigan, Chicago, Indiana, Battle Creek, all over, and soon will be all over the world. So what I want to tell you today, amen. Thank you for that. Why did this happen? This is my close. Why did this happen? Did I have some kind of secret formula and I'm a mastermind. No. I beat the heck out of Stacey Anderson. No, that's not it. No, I didn't. That's not it. I allowed myself to birth something new out of my failures, out of my frustration. I stopped saying no and said yes. I was no longer afraid, or maybe I was, but I did it anyway. Did I have naysayers? Yes. Did people talk about me? Yes. Was I threatened? Yes. But I also was promoted and I succeeded, and now I talk to you. And I empower you. Right? Who knew? So that is my challenge to you. Turn up the volume in your voice. Turn it up. Ask yourself that question. What am I saying no to where I should be saying yes to? Thank you for letting me speak with you today. Thank you very much.
That was dynamic. That's dynamic. So you're talking with us, and that word with denotes collaboration. Very cool. That's awesome. I was thinking of a couple of things as she was talking. Over the last year or so, God gave me an amazing gift in the form of a husband a couple of years ago. Yes. Amen. Yeah. At any rate, one morning we were lying in bed and I just started this little ritual of my own. We prayed together.